Narcissist's greatest mistake. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're diving into a truth that shakes the foundation of the egotistical, the greatest mistake of a narcissist. It's a mistake that blinds them, limits them, and ultimately destroys the very thing they crave most: true greatness and lasting fulfillment. A narcissist is like a king without a kingdom. They are trapped in their own reflection, believing that their image is their power. But here's the truth: no mirror can give you what only real connection, growth, and contribution can deliver. The greatest mistake a narcissist makes is this: they build a world where they are the center but fail to realize that greatness lies in the connections, not the self. They overestimate their strength and underestimate the power of humility, empathy, and the collective effort that truly transforms lives and legacies. Here's the reality: the world is not moved by selfishness, it's moved by significance. And significance doesn't come from serving yourself, it comes from serving others. Let me give you 7 power principles to ensure you never fall into the trap of narcissistic thinking. True power comes from contribution. Self-centeredness may build temporary empires, but contribution builds legacies. Ask yourself every day, how can I add value to someone else's life? Humility unlocks true wisdom. The moment you believe you know everything is the moment you stop learning. Humility isn't weakness, it's the ultimate strength because it keeps you open to growth. Relationships are the real wealth. You can have everything in the world, but without deep, meaningful connections, you have nothing. Cultivate relationships built on trust and authenticity. Growth requires letting go of the ego. The ego screams, I am enough as I am. Growth whispers, I can be more. Don't let your ego block your evolution. Leadership is about empowering others. True leaders don't demand admiration, they inspire it by lifting others higher. Your ability to empower others is your greatest leadership tool. Vulnerability is strength. A narcissist hides behind a mask, but real strength comes from showing up authentically, even when it's uncomfortable. Legacy is built through impact, not image. Your legacy isn't about how many people admire you, it's about how many lives you've touched. Focus on creating a ripple effect that lasts beyond your lifetime. Let me leave you with this: a narcissist seeks validation. A truly empowered person seeks transformation. Choose transformation. Choose growth. Choose growth. Choose to live a life so meaningful that it becomes unforgettable, not because you shouted the loudest, but because you lifted others the highest. Your greatness doesn't come from how brightly you shine alone. It comes from how many lights you ignite around you. True power comes from contribution. Let's get one thing straight: power isn't about how much you can take from the world. Real power is about what you can give. Contribution is the heartbeat of a life worth living. Think about it: every great leader, every person you admire didn't just consume, they created. They contributed, they made an impact. Why is contribution so powerful? Because it connects you to something bigger than yourself. It gives your actions meaning and your life purpose. When you focus on serving others, you're no longer operating from scarcity. You're stepping into abundance. But most people miss this. They chase status, wealth, and recognition, thinking it will make them feel powerful. It won't. What fills your soul isn't what you get, it's what you get. Contribution transforms a life of selfish ambition into a mission that inspires and energizes. You've probably heard the phrase, it's better to give than to receive. That's not just a moral lesson, it's a strategy for fulfillment. The moment you give, you shift your focus. You stop worrying about your limitations and start seeing your potential. And here's the magic: when you contribute, you grow. Every act of giving demands that you dig deeper, reach higher, and become more. It forces you to stretch beyond your comfort zone. It transforms you from the inside out. Now, contribution isn't always easy. It means putting others first. It means showing up even when you're tired, even when it's inconvenient. But guess what? That's where the transformation happens. That's where you find your true strength. When you contribute, you also attract the right people. Relationships based on mutual giving are unshakable. They're the foundation for building trust, collaboration, and real impact. And don't think for a second that your contribution has to be massive to matter. A kind word, a helping hand, a moment of your time, these small acts can create ripple effects far beyond what you'll ever see. So stop asking, what can I get? Start asking, what can I give? That shift in focus will change everything. Contribution is the gateway to fulfillment, the fuel for growth, and the foundation of lasting success. When you wake up each day, ask yourself this: how can I serve today? How can I contribute to someone else's journey? That simple question can ignite a fire inside you. You'll notice something incredible. When you give without expecting anything in return, the universe has a way of giving back tenfold. It's not magic, it's the law of life. Contribution opens doors you didn't even know existed. And let me be clear, you don't have to be a millionaire or a genius to contribute. You already have something unique to give. You have experiences, skills, and perspectives that no one else can offer. Your contribution matters. It's your ticket to a life of significance. Don't hold back. Don't wait. The world is waiting for your gift. Humility unlocks true wisdom. Most people think they know it all. They walk around with a closed mind, pretending they have the answers to everything. But let me tell you something, the moment you think you know it all is the moment you stop growing. Humility is the key to unlocking true wisdom. It's not about being weak, it's about being open. Open to learning, open to growth, and open to the possibilities you've never considered. Why is humility so powerful? Because it creates space for expansion. It allows you to see the gaps in your knowledge, the areas where you can improve. It's the antidote to stagnation. Think about the greatest minds in history. Einstein, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, they didn't walk around bragging about what they knew. They stayed curious, they stayed humble. And that's what made them unstoppable. Here's the problem: the ego hates humility. It wants to protect itself. It wants to look good, sound smart, and feel superior. But that's a trap. The ego is the enemy of progress. When you embrace humility, you release the need to be perfect. You stop worrying about how you're perceived and start focusing on how you can grow. That's where the magic happens. Humility doesn't mean you lack confidence. It means you have the confidence to admit when you don't know something. It means you're secure enough to ask questions, to seek advice, and to learn from others. It's not about thinking less of yourself, it's about thinking beyond yourself. Humility shifts your focus from me to we, from I know to what can I learn. That's where real wisdom comes from. When you stay humble, you become a magnet for mentors, opportunities, and breakthroughs. People are drawn to those who are authentic, who listen, and who value collaboration. And here's the beautiful thing: humility is a choice. It's a practice. Every day you have the opportunity to let go of your ego and embrace a mindset of growth. So how do you cultivate humility? Start by asking better questions. Instead of saying, I already know this, ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of judging others, ask, what can they teach me? Humility isn't about shrinking, it's about expanding. It's about recognizing that no matter how much, there's always more to learn. When you lead with humility, you unlock doors that pride will never open. You discover wisdom, build stronger relationships, and become a person of true influence. Remember this: the more humble you are, the higher you'll rise. Not because you're chasing success, but because you're becoming the kind of person who inspires it. Choose humility. Choose growth. Choose to become the best version of yourself by staying open, curious, and ready to learn. Relationships are the real wealth. Let me ask you something. What's the point of success if you have no one to share it with? What's the value of climbing to the top if you're standing there all alone? Real wealth isn't found in the numbers in your bank account. It's found in the depth of the connections in your life. Relationships are the core of everything that truly matters. They fuel your happiness, your growth, and your sense of purpose. Think about it. Every major milestone, every breakthrough moment in your life was likely tied to someone else. A mentor who believed in you, a friend who supported you, or a loved one who celebrated your wins. But here's the problem: too many people take relationships for granted. They assume the people in their lives will always be there. They focus on their careers, their goals, their ambitions, and put their relationships on the back burner. And then they wonder why they feel so empty when they achieve their goals. Relationships aren't just nice to have, they're essential. They're your support system, your safety net, your foundation. And like anything valuable, they require time, energy, and effort to grow. So ask yourself, are you investing in your relationships the way you invest in your business or your career? Are you showing up for the people who matter most to you? Because if you're not, you're missing out on the greatest source of wealth you'll ever have. Here's the truth: you don't attract people by what you have, you attract them by who you are. Be the kind of person others want to be around. Be someone who listens, who cares, who uplifts. That's how you build relationships that last. And let's be real, relationships aren't always easy. They require patience, forgiveness, and sometimes a lot of work. but the effort is always worth it. The best relationships are built on trust, respect, and authenticity. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is surrounding yourself with people who don't push you to grow. Choose relationships that challenge you, inspire you, and bring out the best in you. And just as importantly, be that person for others. Relationships are a two-way street. You can't just take, you have to give. Give your time, your energy, your love. Be present, be engaged. Make the people in your life feel valued and appreciated. And don't forget to nurture the most important relationship of all, the one you have with yourself. Because if you're not whole, you can't show up fully for others. Take care of yourself so you can give your best to the people you care about. It's not about how many people you know, it's about the quality of the connections you build. Deep, meaningful relationships are what truly enrich your life. They're your anchor in tough times and your greatest joy in good times. So prioritize your relationships. Make time for the people who matter. Show them you care, not just with words, but with actions. Because at the end of the day, the wealthiest person isn't the one with the most possessions, it's the one with the most love and connection in their life. Growth requires letting go of the ego. If there's one thing holding most people back, it's their ego. That voice in their head that says, I've got it all figured out. I don't need help. I don't need change. But here's the truth. Your ego is the enemy of your growth. Growth requires humility. It requires the courage to admit that you don't have all the answers and the willingness to seek them out. But the ego doesn't like that. The ego wants comfort, control, and certainty. It doesn't want you to stretch or take risks. Letting go of the ego is the first step toward true transformation. When you release the need to be right, to look perfect, to have all the answers, you create space for growth. You open yourself up to new perspectives, new opportunities, and new possibilities. Think about it. How often do we let our pride stop us from asking for help, from admitting when we're wrong, from taking feedback? The ego wants to protect us, but in doing so, it keeps us stuck. Growth is messy. It's uncomfortable. It forces you to confront your weaknesses and challenge your limitations. But that's where the magic happens. Growth is the process of becoming the person you were meant to be. When you let go of the ego, you free yourself from the need to compare, to compete, to prove your worth. You realize that your value doesn't come from external validation, it comes from within. The ego thrives on fear, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of being seen as less than. But growth thrives on courage. It's about stepping into the unknown, embracing uncertainty, and trusting that you'll figure it out along the way. The most successful people in the world didn't get there by clinging to their ego. They got there by being coachable, by staying curious, by being willing to fail and learn. And here's the beautiful thing. When you let go of the ego, you gain so much more. You gain wisdom, resilience, and the freedom to be authentically yourself. The ego wants you to believe that letting go is a loss. But it's not. It's a gain. It's an opportunity to grow, to evolve, to become the best version of yourself. So ask yourself, what's more important, protecting your ego or pursuing your potential? Are you willing to let go of what's holding you back to step into what's possible? Letting go of the ego isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. It's choosing growth over comfort, curiosity over certainty, humility over pride. Remember, growth isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about showing up, doing the work, and becoming a little better every day. When you let go of the ego, you unlock the door to your true potential. You stop playing small and start living big. So take a deep breath, let go of your pride, and step into the growth that's waiting for you. Leadership is about empowering others. Leadership is not about standing at the top and shouting orders. It's not about being the loudest, the smartest, or the most admired. True leadership is about one thing: empowering others to reach their full potential. Think about the greatest leaders throughout history. They didn't succeed because they demanded loyalty or controlled others. They succeeded because they inspired, guided, and lifted others up. They created opportunities for people to thrive. And in doing so, they built movements that changed the world. Most people confuse leadership with authority, but authority is just a title. Leadership is action. It's not about the position you hold, it's about the difference you make. A leader is someone who inspires people to believe in themselves, to strive for more, and to work together toward a common goal. The mistake many so-called leaders make is focusing on themselves. They want the credit, the recognition, the spotlight. But true leaders understand this. It's not about you, it's about the people you serve. Empowering others begins with a mindset shift. It's about seeing people not for who they are, but for who they can become. It's about recognizing their potential, even when they can't see it themselves, and helping them tap into it. One of the most powerful things you can do as a leader is to believe in someone before they believe in themselves. That belief can be the spark that ignites their fire. It can be the difference between mediocrity and greatness. But empowerment isn't just about encouragement. It's about giving people the tools, the knowledge, and the opportunities they need to grow. It's about challenging them to step out of their comfort zones and supporting them as they do. Here's the thing, leadership isn't about creating followers, it's about creating leaders. When you empower others, you multiply your impact. You create a ripple effect that extends far beyond what you could achieve alone. Leadership is also about listening. It's about understanding the needs, the fears, and the dreams of the people you lead. When you take the time to listen, you build trust. And trust is the foundation of any strong team or community. Empowering others requires vulnerability. It means admitting that you don't have all the answers and being open to learning from those around you. It means leading by example, showing humility, and being willing to grow alongside your team. It also means giving credit where it's due. Celebrate the successes of the people you lead. Recognize their contributions and let them shine. When you lift others up, you elevate the entire team. And let's be clear, leadership isn't always easy. It requires patience, resilience, and a willingness to put others before yourself. But the rewards are worth it. There's no greater satisfaction than seeing someone you've empowered step into their greatness. So ask yourself, are you focused on your success, or are you helping others achieve theirs? Are you building a legacy of empowerment, or are you chasing short-term wins? Leadership isn't about what you accomplish, it's about what you inspire others to accomplish. It's about creating a vision so compelling that others want to join you on the journey. Remember this, the greatest leaders don't just build empires, they build people. They empower others to rise, to lead, and to create a better future. That's the kind of leader you were born to be. Vulnerability is strength. There's a myth that's been sold to us for far too long that strength means having it all together, never showing weakness, and always being in control. But let me tell you the truth, real strength comes from vulnerability. Vulnerability isn't about being weak. It's about being real. It's about showing up as your authentic self, even when it's uncomfortable. It's about having the courage to say, I don't have all the answers, or I need help. Why is vulnerability so powerful? Because it connects us, it breaks down walls and builds bridges. When you're vulnerable, you give others permission to be real too. You create a space where trust can thrive and relationships can deepen. Most people spend their lives hiding behind masks. They're afraid of being judged, rejected, or misunderstood. But the truth is, those masks are what keep them disconnected. The moment you take off the mask, you set yourself free. Vulnerability is the birthplace of growth. When you're willing to admit your struggles, you open the door to solutions. When you're willing to share your fears, you find courage. And when you're willing to embrace your imperfections, you discover your greatest strength. But let's be honest, vulnerability isn't easy. It requires you to let go of control, to take risks, and to face your fears head on. It's scary, but it's also liberating. Think about the moments in your life when you felt the most connected to someone. Were they the times when everything was perfect? Or were they the times when you were raw, real, and honest? Here's the irony. The very things we think will make people reject us are often the things that make them love us. Vulnerability is what makes us human. It's what makes us relatable. And vulnerability isn't just about your personal life. It's a superpower in leadership too. When you're vulnerable, you inspire trust. You show your team that it's okay to take risks, to fail, and to learn. Being vulnerable doesn't mean oversharing or playing the victim. It means owning your story, your struggles, and your truth. It means saying, this is me and I'm enough. When you embrace vulnerability, you stop seeking validation from others. You realize that your worth doesn't come from their approval, it comes from your authenticity. Vulnerability isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of courage. It takes strength to show up, to be seen, and to risk rejection. But the rewards are worth it. So let go of the need to be perfect. Stop hiding behind the facade. Show up as the real you, flaws and all. That's where your power lies. Because at the end of the day, people won't remember you for the mask you wore. They'll remember you for the courage you showed, the truth you spoke, and the connections you built. The narcissist's greatest mistake is isolation. Let me tell you about the single biggest trap that narcissists fall into, one that costs them their power, their relationships, and their chance at true success: isolation. They may not even realize it, but the moment they put themselves above others, the moment they refuse to connect, they cut themselves off from the greatest resource they have, people. True success, true fulfillment, true greatness doesn't come from standing alone. It comes from standing with others. The narcissist's mistake is believing they can go it alone, that their brilliance, charm, or intellect will carry them through without needing anyone else. But here's the truth: no one, no matter how talented or capable, achieves anything significant by themselves. Every great accomplishment is built on collaboration, teamwork, and connection. The narcissist, blinded by their ego, misses this entirely. When you isolate yourself, you limit your perspective. You surround yourself with only your own thoughts, your own ideas, your own way of doing things. And while that might feel safe, it's a dead end. Growth happens when you allow others to challenge you, to teach you, to push you beyond what you thought was possible. The narcissist fears vulnerability because they equate it with weakness, but vulnerability is the foundation of connection. When you refuse to let others in, you build walls instead of bridges. You create a fortress that might protect you, but it also imprisons you. Isolation doesn't just cut you off from others, it cuts you off from opportunity. Every opportunity in life comes through people. Whether it's a mentor who guides you, a friend who supports you, or a team that helps you execute your vision, success is always a group effort. And here's the paradox: the more you isolate yourself, the weaker you become. You might think you're protecting your power, but you're actually diminishing it. Power grows when it's shared. Influence expands when it's used to uplift others.